You did. You beat me this week.
There you go. It's recording. We're recording. There you go.
Recording. You
EJay,
and everybody else, just about.
Good to see you again on this
hear it.
Sunday. I beat you.
Yep. There you go.
I have everyone where I want them now. Look at that. First step was beating you, and here we are.
All uphill. It's all uphill from here. Or downhill. I don't know what
downhill.
That's the right phrase.
Some hill. Yeah. Hey, why don't I throw this up there? Why don't I throw this so that we could show the world? Show the world.
Weekly.
Look at that, baby. Right there. Big, bold, beautiful. You know what? Let's do this. Oh, that's a little too big. There we go.
Look how proud you are of those 40 points.
Yeah. Yeah, and look how 25. Here, let's take care of you now. There you go. Look how small you are in comparison to my bigness.
To your big 40 points.
40 points. Hey, I don't have much else going for me, so.
Kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
Well done.
Jersey Fran. Do we know who Jersey Fran is?
No, we don't. Jersey Fran doing well. 70. That's 70 is a good score. I think that's like our highest. Right, we had a 70 in week 6.
70.
Week 6 we had 70. We had 70. We had 3 70s in week 6.
Yeah.
4 70s in week 6.
They're on steroids or something. That's the only way to explain that. Yeah. They're on prescriptions, something.
Well, you know those Jersey guys.
Yeah. It's really popular down at the shore. And then who is this rank? We can sort of go back down to reality for Simple Coach. Urbana number 17. Look at that, 345. Their low is one of my high scores.
Yeah, I know.
That's something wrong.
Your high score is 40, and they're low. Yeah. They've got, look at that, 270s.
270, like just wrong.
Cross it for fun with an 85. That's a big week. Yeah, that's the problem. You can't put up those 15 and 20 point weeks like you've done so well.
Like I said, I'm going for the golf score. So see, the way I say it was $150. I just got a nail next week, and I'll be right there competing up top. I just got a nail. Like I said, I was hoping somebody was going to be some young entrepreneurial type was going to find out what are the odds of picking the perfect pool,
the perfect bracket, if you will.
Perfect bracket for EJay's weekly. It's got to be a ginormous number.
We'll put somebody on that. I got a guy. I'll put a guy on that.
I'll put a guy. Yeah, I got a guy who knows a guy.
I got a guy in everything. I got a guy everywhere. I got a guy for that.
All right. What are your thoughts of this past week? Anything?
I didn't watch a lot this weekend, so I don't know how. I mean, I know the results, but I don't know how if they were proper. How many games did you watch?
I watched the Colorado Southwestern. Colorado looks good. I've been saying it. Like they're going strong.
Well, the surprises that I saw from just our pool. Well, for me personally, I was really surprised that York laid an egg against Messiah. I really thought they'd give him a game, and they did.
I watched some of that, and it was a big. It was a goose egg of epic proportions. I think it was 3-0 by half, and they didn't. Yeah. They had no business being on the same field. I'm sorry, they had no business being on the same field.
And that's fair. Like I said, I didn't watch the game, but I thought York was going to come to play, and they didn't. So what do we think? Augsburg St. Olaf, a draw, that didn't surprise me necessarily. Colorado College Southwestern, Colorado College didn't surprise me. Messiah York surprised me. Rowan Montclair, Um, yeah, I mean that surprised me a little.
I expected more out of Montclair, but having
Yeah,
said that, I
exactly.
am not surprised.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right. And we talked about that a
yeah.
little bit. Swarthmore
I was
Dickinson
surprised.
draw. Okay.
I expected Dickinson. I really did. Like,
See, I
no, no, no. But
yeah.
listen, here again. It's we we're serious, and this is a game we have to take care of. And that's what I was.
Right.
That's where I was. That's where my head was
Yeah,
at.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair. I think Swarthmore's kind of feeling the same way though. I mean,
Yeah.
they still need, they still need some points. Washington lead Lynchburg
Tie.
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, Catholic took it to Lycoming,
Yeah.
which a little bit of a surprise for me. Buff State, New Paltz. New Paltz 2-0. That's a bit of a surprise. I really thought undefeated Buffalo would have the
Yeah.
leg up in that one.
Yeah.
F&M Hopkins, yeah, I mean that makes sense. And then Middlebury Tufts as a draw, yeah. So as a hive, we got four right.
Oof.
So let me ask you this: guess your guess, best guess. We've played 8 weeks, so that's 80 games. What do you think our record is as a hive
As you mean like total wins?
overall? Eight, yeah.
Total
How
wins of the
many
80 games.
80 games? How many
I'm
have
gonna
as a hive gotten the correct
I'm
outcome?
gonna say it's got to hover around the 40 range, maybe less, 30, 40 range. That's my guesstimate. I don't think we've knocked it out of the park any of the weeks that we've done this.
We did one or two. We had a couple. There was 1 or 2 weeks we did really well. So we are 40-40.
Wow, that is an
Yeah,
interesting stat right there. Four.
yeah,
So we split. For every one we guessed right, we guessed wrong.
yeah. Basically, it comes out to we go 5-5
Yeah,
every week.
yeah.
Five right, five wrong.
I'm curious the stat person who's working on the perfect
Mm.
score statistics. What are the odds of that? Of
Of
40 some odd people, different numbers every week, different games
hmm
every week to come up 500.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. Especially it like the I don't know the math how you do the math because there's three potential outcomes: win, lose, draw.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah, we've hit 50 of them right. So what we got wrong this week, or let me what did we get right? We got Colorado over
Mm,
Southwestern. We got Messiah over York. We got I gave us Hopkins over F&M because it was a 36-36.
mm-hmm.
So I gave us that, and then we got the draw on Tufts Middlebury. Everything else we got wrong.
That was the least surprising result for me. The Middlebury Tufts. I just kind of was like, "Yep,
Yeah,
okay." I watched that game and I just felt totally dissatisfied by it. Like, like I want my time back. Like, oh, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So
all right.
so that's not a bad way things turned out as usual.
All
Some
right.
good movement, some good results, some good movement, and then yeah, and then we got this week coming up. What did you think of the picks this week? Matchups.
There are I watch a lot of games and I watch a lot of teams. There are a lot of unknowns for me. Like
Really? Because
legitimately,
you haven't
I
seen
have
them
not
enough,
seen them enough.
and they're good. They're on paper, and these are good games and good matchups.
Correct.
I don't know them well,
Yeah.
a lot of them,
Yeah.
and especially if you don't know them a lot of well, then nobody does because
I,
you watch more than anybody
yeah.
else.
I think the OAC, and we'll talk about them. The OAC games, I'm fine. The ODAC game, I'm fine.
Hmm.
The landmark, okay. The Mac Freedom, that's
Mac
okay.
Freedom, the new.
Yeah, I don't haven't watched enough. That's
Mm,
my problem. The
yeah,
the new Mac. Oh my gosh, I confess, like that's a hard one for me. I watch both of them early. We'll talk about it. And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously there's a NESCAC game. So why don't we jump right into it?
So I say so. Let's start with that NESCAC game.
Yeah.
First game, Connecticut College at Williams.
Yeah. Wow.
So Connecticut College 7-1-4, Williams 8-2-2. Williams is still in the hunt for a 2 seed in the NESCAC. They host Connecticut. They haven't beaten Connecticut since 2013.
I didn't know
that. I
That's
didn't
crazy.
know that. I mean, according to the Williams website, that's what it says. That's hard to believe. It's been 11 years.
That is, I find that, especially in the year they went like 3-0-15, or whatever their record was.
Right.
I would have expected a win over.
Well, there's been some
draws
in there, but no win since 2013. Which in Connecticut, I don't remember them being Connecticut back in 2013. So I don't know. This is a good game.
I'm starting to wonder if Connecticut isn't a little bit of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Because I was looking through the stats and whatever on this, and I was thinking, oh, Williams is going to make it hard for them to score, and they're gonna counter and do sort of what they do. Then it dawned on me, Connecticut has only conceded 4 goals this season. You're like, holy smokes! Like that's pretty good. Like I give them that. Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And they have been able to put some goals up. I mean, they scored the last 2 games. They won 3-0, 6-0 combined, right? So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Like at Williams,
And they both have a game midweek, and they're nothing special. I think it's like Keene State and Salve.
Yeah.
So they'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be
ready to go.
I don't think there's going to be. I think it's going to be a little chaotic.
Yeah,
I think that's going to, and I think Williams is fine with that. I don't think Connecticut is, but I think they can manage through. So, don't worry.
I think this is going to be a consensus tie.
I will. Yeah, I agree. Especially after the Middlebury Tufts, it's like, hey, that's it. Like, ties abound.
Right.
Yeah. So this I'll watch. Then I'll want my time back, and I won't get my time back. I'll send Coach Burke a bill, like 90 minutes of watching. Yeah. That's right. That's a Saturday. We have no Friday games.
We have no Friday games this week.
What are you doing to me?
All Saturday games. All
right. This one.
Is there a Sunday game?
Oh, my God.
One Sunday game.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, so staying in New England. WPI, last year's #1 seed in the NEWBAC tournament. They're currently 1 point out of a playoff spot. They have to win. They're 8-3-4. They're going to Coast Guard, who are 10-3-1, and Coast Guard is still fighting for a #1 seed. They're 3 points behind Babson, who's in the front, who's in the lead, and they still have to play Babson.
And last game of the season for them, I think, is when they play.
Yeah. Right. So they can still right. I don't want to say right their ship. They can still. Their destiny's in their hands. They can win out and get the #1 seed.
They need to. They have a game. WPI has a game against Clark on Wednesday. I think it is that they have to win. Like that to me.
Yeah.
That to me, that's like the must-win game for them. And then they can live to fight another day, and then it becomes this game.
Well, at this point, every game is do or die, win or go home, must win. Throw out whatever. Expression.
But if they lose, if they lose to Clark, I think that this game changes a bit.
Good.
So anyhow,
Well, it'll still be important for Coast Guard.
Yeah, oh,
So
yeah. Coast Guard's still going to want to
yeah,
throttle this.
yeah,
I
right,
tell you,
right.
they look like a really tough team to play against under any circumstance because they're so
Coast Guard. Yeah.
energetic and so physical and so like not afraid. Like you don't see. I mean,
Mm,
maybe it's because of what they do and how they
right.
live their
They're
lives
fit.
on their on a daily
Right.
basis. But
Yeah.
this is
Exactly.
a soccer game. What? Like this is nothing.
I've
yeah,
seen a lot of teams that are just not fit. You're like, really?
yeah,
Like, did you really like
yeah,
think you could just kind of go play college soccer and not be
yeah,
fit? Well, apparently the answer is yeah. I could eat cheeseburgers all day long.
yeah. Yeah. So
So
that'll be a good one though too. Like it New Mac. There's some
I like the new
New
Mac.
Mac gets overshadowed, is what I would
They
say.
do.
You know, and which is not right. And I think they could. This is a good. This would be a good game for to show right for the
Yeah.
league. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yep.
so. All right.
All right. Next game. So the two best teams in the Mac Freedom face off. And I know you said you don't know a lot, but Stevens and Lebanon Valley are they're the two best teams
Yeah.
in that conference and have been and will be. Um, they just have the history. They're just better than everybody else in
Mm.
that conference. Stevens is 6-3-3, and they're going to 8-4-2 Lebanon Valley. This is a matchup of last year's championship, which Stevens won 1-0.
Yeah.
The interesting stat here: Lebanon Valley hasn't lost at home yet. All
That's because
four of
they
those
make it
losses are on
really
the road.
friggin' hard for you to beat them.
That
Like really hard. I watched that when they played Franklin and Marshall,
mm,
and I gave them credit. Like they're again another team that's not afraid. You know, like
right.
we'll get after it.
And we've speaking of fitness, and we've talked about this a couple weeks ago. I brought it up when we had Lebanon in the pool earlier. They sub like 7 or 8 guys at a time.
Oh, they do line
They
changes.
put they put in like
like
a they do like a
line
whole yeah.
line
Like there's
change.
8 guys standing on the
Yeah,
sideline ready to come in. You're like, crap, they're just gonna run me
yeah,
down.
yeah. That also speaks,
They can
right?
go
Okay, that's the fitness, but you also have to have the players who can
right.
play, right? Like if you don't have those
Yeah.
guys, making 8 subs hurts you, right? Like, so I give them
Right. Yeah, yeah.
credit for
You can't
that
just run
too.
around like a chicken with
Yeah,
no head.
yeah,
You still have to move the
yeah.
ball. Right, right, right.
Um,
So it's a good
and
game.
I think, and Stevens. I can't get a read on like they can't get the momentum. I think they're not quite, but they're like maybe win tie loss.
Right.
Win tie. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't have consistency going. So I'm not sure how they're going to.
And I think this year is I don't know if did they both make the tournament last year.
I think
Um,
so.
they're both not making the tournament this
No,
year.
no,
Whoever wins this conference
no.
is getting the
Is
AQ, and
AQ?
and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other team goes to the NIT.
yeah. I don't think they. I don't. And with the whole new
Right.
NPI thing, I don't think these guys come close to
Yeah.
it. So,
Right.
um, all right, that's a
So
good
all right.
one.
Moving on. Moving on. The other one you don't know much about.
Yeah.
Landmark. Staying in we did the Landmark last week. And I mentioned last week, I said Juniata,
I didn't know. Yeah,
Moravian, and maybe Catholic,
yeah,
right? Those are the 3 teams I gave you.
yeah.
Well, this week it's Juniata,
Moravian.
Moravian.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're the top 2 teams in the
yeah.
Landmark. Juniata undefeated in conference play. They're 8-2-5 overall. They're going to Moravian, who's 8-2-4. And Moravian's only 2 losses were 1-goal games
Mm,
against Muhlenberg and Montclair.
yeah.
2 good teams.
Not too shabby. Yeah,
Right.
I. It's funny because I was like, oh, Landmark, Juniata, Catholic, okay, and I think Juniata is more like because I love the story to it, right?
Right,
Newish
right.
coach, right? Few years in and steadily building them to become. It's great to see other teams other than Catholic sort of dominate and
Right.
right at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
top.
I thought it was going to be Lycoming.
Yeah,
They had the
yeah,
stinker this weekend.
yeah,
Um, So yeah, I mean Moravian,
and
Juniata,
and they're scoring goals. Like I started looking at stats in these games. Like they both score 2 goals a game. Like that that says something about a team, if you ask me. I mean, if you're a average multiple goals a game, that puts you in a
right?
great spot. So
So yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about these
yeah.
two teams because when you think landmark, you think you
Well, and I
think
hate to say it,
Catholic,
doormats, right? Like I don't
right?
like for the last few years they've been relatively basement dwellers, if just trying to or coming close to making the tournament. So
Right,
so
right. But now you've got
yeah,
now they're sitting at the top of the
yeah,
landmark. So
yeah.
so
Um,
this is a good
a-
opportunity for one of them to really
and it
stake their claim.
isn't the tournament hosted at the top seed?
Yep.
So this is
Well, it's one and two get the bye. Three host six, four host five,
that's right, that's right.
and then one host winner, two host winner, and then higher seed.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean Moravian. Moravian's got an interesting little field.
You ever been
Their
there?
field's right in the middle of
Yeah, it's
campus. It's
fantastic.
like in the middle of like literally the middle
the
of campus.
the hill, and on top is the
Yeah,
student union right up there. It's
yeah,
fantastic,
yeah,
fantastic, and
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
dorms around it
yeah.
and the gym.
The dorms are all
Love it,
around it. Yeah,
love it,
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Think it's a cool place. Cool place.
yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
all right.
All right, game one, two, three, four. Game five, big game in the ODAC. Third place Virginia Wesleyan at 10-2-3 takes on an 8-3-3 Washington and Lee team that bends but does not break. They still
They
haven't
haven't lost.
lost since September 9th.
Yeah,
They've tied. They've had some not great
not great
ties,
results too. I
but
mean,
they
great results
haven't
for them. Yeah,
lost. They
yeah,
haven't lost.
yeah,
They're doing enough to not
yeah.
lose, which in my mind
It's a sign of a good
is
team, right?
always a big, yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's if you can find a way not to lose, you're going to do
yeah,
well.
yeah. Um, and right, like, well, Washington and Lee just tied Shenandoah, which is incomprehensible to me. But and Lynchburg. So I would think that this
Yeah.
is a game. Like I don't know about what that whole MPI business is going to be like for these guys, but um, like I think I would chalk this up as like we need to take this one. We're at home. And Virginia Wesleyan is thinking this is the best opportunity they're going to have in years to really take Washington and Lee out.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at this. So, and I would think
Yeah,
again, the
this is
higher up you are, the better for the conference tournament. So, I'm sure Virginia Wesleyan is thinking, hey, how can we? Because who is it up top?
it's
Yeah,
Hamden Sydney.
Hamden, Sydney, and
5-0-2 in the
yeah.
ODAC.
So,
And then the ODAC's that weird conference where they don't play
but
everybody,
yeah, yeah.
during the
So
season because they have too many teams.
totally confuses me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's going to be a
that's a
good
good
game.
game.
I think it's going to.
Virginia Wesleyan, Washington,
I
and Lee is a good
I
game.
think they both play too. Like so, I think you'll see the ball on the deck quite a bit. So
There's going to be I think there's going to be a bunch of goals in this
yeah,
game.
I could
This
totally
is
see
not a
it.
0-0 or 1-0 game.
So I'm going to pick it a 0-0 tie
Okay.
because you said so.
All right. Well, now that you
Now that
got
I'm
fully
on
punched
top,
from last week,
now I could.
I gotta listen to what you say.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
huge one.
Oh, huge game in the OAC.
Oh my gosh.
The Mount Union Purple Stallions are at Ohio Northern.
It is not a
So
pleasant place to play if you're a Raider. Not if
Mount Union, they're in first place
yeah,
in the OAC. Did you know? I'm sure you knew that. Did anybody else know that?
I did.
Probably not.
I am anyone else.
Yeah,
No.
you're all that matters.
I
You got the newsletter? You got the email newsletter?
yeah, yeah. The
11-3-1. Mount Union 11-3-1.
And that's why, because ONU tied, was it John Carroll or who did they tie? ONU Sports. Going to Ada is a trip. Like that's the worst part of it. Now they got the big bus now. I used to go in vans. It was the
In the
worst.
vans,
It
yeah.
was the
I love the
worst.
van. We played so much hearts in those vans, man.
I would sleep in the middle, like you know how the van would have the side, like by
Mm.
the door. I would like put all the bags down and lie on the bags, and that's where I would sleep. And I would just stay there the whole time.
We played a lot of hearts,
Yeah.
lots and lots of hearts.
Uh,
So ONU lost to Kenyon 3-2, and they lost
they
to
tied
Washington,
Capital. That's it.
Missouri.
Which is a
They,
surprise. That again, that's a surprise kind of. I mean, let's
or
put
just this week,
yeah,
yeah,
just this week, and
yeah.
Capital isn't all that great right now.
Hmm. And they get Otterbein on Wednesday.
Yeah, so that's gonna be big. But they still play. I mean, talk about a schedule. These guys like they just play a ridiculous schedule every year. Um,
Right. Yeah, I mean, we talked about these guys a lot in the
yeah,
beginning of the year, ONU.
yeah,
But your purple team is right there.
yeah,
So it's a big game, big for seeding,
yeah.
big game.
Big game. I'll be watching.
Good,
So
good,
go
good.
Raiders!
Go
Next.
Raiders. So staying in the
Boo.
OAC, staying
Boo.
in conference. So Mountain Union, Ohio Northern are 1-2.
Yeah.
So 3-4 are John Carroll and Wilmington.
Wilmington. Yeah.
So this is another huge. You could really go from 1-2 and 3-4, depending on what happens, could jump.
Yeah. You could flip.
So
Total
John
flip.
Carroll's,
Yeah.
yeah, total flip. So John Carroll's 10-3-2, and
Yeah.
Wilmington is 11-1-3.
Yeah.
This weekend, assuming they all win Wednesday. This weekend's huge,
Yeah.
huge proceedings,
Yeah.
1-4, because they're all right there. They're all,
Well, it's John Carroll is fourth, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, that John Carroll loved the idea of always having the tournament at home.
Mm. Who wouldn't?
You know, and I will say it's interesting about Wilmington. Wilmington had what made it to the final, won it maybe 2 years ago, and then last year they kind of struggled, and then now they're back at it this year. So, and then again, John Carroll, like I don't know, tough read on
Right.
them. Tough.
Yeah.
I don't have the confidence I did like last year. I thought there were stretches they looked really good until they sort of blew up. But
This is anybody's. I
yeah,
think this conference is still wide.
yeah.
Wide open might be the wrong term, but
Once it goes to
anything because nobody's separating
yeah,
themselves. Ohio Northern looked to be able to separate themselves, and then they
they
didn't.
didn't. No.
Wilmington's 11-1-3, so they've got a nice gaudy record, but
Yeah,
have they played the Ohio Northern John Carroll schedule?
yeah.
No.
No, 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 no.
So
Wilmington Athletics. Let me pull them up real quick. I don't think. I think of the four, since they're both OECs, might as well. Since of the four, I think it's Wilmington probably plays the weakest of the schedules.
yeah, probably.
Like I don't think they have. Yeah, I think their pre conference schedule is not all that. I think maybe the toughest ones they might play is Rose Holman, maybe.
Wilmington was picked to finish eighth
Yeah,
in that 10-team
yeah.
conference.
That's because they did really
And
poorly last year.
and they are guaranteed to not finish eighth.
Yeah. Oh, they're
Heidelberg's 0-5, Muskegon's 0-5, Baldwin Wallace is 0-5, Marietta's 1-4. Hell, Otterbane's 3-2.
the Cory Booker, who's the who is the head coach at Wilmington, he mentioned to me over the summer, I think it was, where he thought this team was going to be like a return to the way they sort of were 2 years ago.
Okay.
And because, like I said, I think last year they were not. I think they struggled. Yeah, they were 4 and
Right.
11. So they were last year. So yeah, no wonder they're not going to be eighth this year. That's for sure. So
Yeah, and I don't know that they're necessarily going to finish fourth, but
no,
this is a big game for the purposes of Mount Union and Ohio Northern are going to be battling each other for that. To,
yeah,
they're both undefeated, so they're going to want to keep that. John Carroll's playing the 3 team right now, but they're the better team,
yeah,
and they need to put a statement
yep,
together for
yeah,
this one and say, you know what, Mount Union, you guys tie or you guys play 1-0. We're going to go out and beat Wilmington 3-0.
yeah.
Now, don't forget about
Don't
us.
forget, yeah, yeah. That I
You know,
agree.
that's how I read this game. Now, will it happen? Who knows? But that's kind of what I think the thought process has to be
Yeah.
going into this weekend with those 4 teams.
And not that it matters. Don't forget that this is the last season for John Carroll in the OAC. They
Yeah,
got
right,
tired of
right, right.
losing to Mount Union.
That's it.
I'm going to get so much hate mail for that comment.
All
All
right,
right.
this next one.
Next one. This one totally threw me off.
uh, Geneva at Waynesburg.
It's like, oh my Lord.
Waynesburg State. So let me tell you about this one. So not only is Geneva 11-0-3, they're one of 7 undefeated teams
Yeah.
remaining in Division III soccer. They haven't given up a goal in their last 10 games. They've got 10 shutouts in a row. Waynesburg State. I got to be honest, I don't know anything about them.
I would
I had to look it up.
point
And
you to my
yeah,
Fields of Dreams that I did
I
from
say, okay,
Waynesburg.
did you do one from
I
Waynesburg?
did. I
I'll have to go
also did
find that.
one from Geneva.
Put the link
Yes.
up here or wherever.
I will put the links. I will put the links on wherever like I post the games. So it'll be on
There you
D3Soccer
go.
.fans. Um, yeah, so I do know. Usually the pack ends up being like a battle between Franciscan and Grove City. Is who I think are the ones who tend to dominate, but and I think Geneva seems to be really rocking it this year. Um,
It's 11-0-3.
yeah,
10 shutouts in a row.
and
Come
Waynesburg.
on. Waynesburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not
Don't
watched
know.
Waynesburg. I did watch Grove City because, like I said, I know them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forget who they played, but I did not watch Waynesburg. So now I'm going to have to watch this game. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And I do like the Wikipedia reference.
The Wikipedia reference. Yeah, they mentioned that the 1939 Waynesburg State football team played in the first televised football game against Fordham.
Nice. See,
Yeah.
we look to edify our viewers here. Like we are a one-stop shop. Not only do you feed the hunger for Division III soccer, but you also learn some interesting factoids
There you
about
do. That is a fun factoid, I thought. The first televised football game, Waynesburg and Fordham.
Fordham.
Who knew?
Back in the day when they all
Fordham.
played against each other, because what Mount Union played Case is the first recorded game at the Larry Karras Stadium in
Okay.
Alliance. So I think it's Case, or is it or Ohio State? I can't remember. So the two things I will say. Grove City, if you ever go to Grove City, look across the river up into the mountain, and I don't know what it is, but they have a white circle that has a G in it for
Okay.
Geneva, I'm sorry. Very cool. And then at Waynesburg, they have a stadium. Their football stadium is right next to like train tracks. It's kind of a little bit off of campus, but cool place, cool little spot for a game. So
nice.
their bookstore was closed, so I am not. They are
Hatless.
They are not in favor with me because I am hatless from Waynesburg.
You're a hatless. All right.
Yeah. And Geneva, for other uses, is a Christian school and has a very strong tradition within the Christian churches. I don't know which denominations of pastors and theologians coming through Geneva and sort of all that stuff. So
good.
And now let's back to
education.
soccer. Let's get back to soccer.
Good education.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. When I give this next game, I don't know if anybody's going to want to hear it either.
This is a good one.
Who? What? Adrian.
Yo, Adrian. Who is
11-0-2.
And they were like 2-14-1 last year, something crazy.
They were worse than that.
Yeah.
They were 1-13-2 last year. Not only that, they've only had 6 total wins in the previous 4 years.
It's remarkable. Love hearing that.
And this year, they're 11-0-2. If this coach isn't the national coach of the year, something's wrong.
He's on my list, believe it or not. Believe it or not.
You have to.
It's on my list.
1-13-2.
This is more this is more remarkable than Caltech, because it is a complete 180. It is not just like, hey, look, we made progress. We won the most games in a season ever. They've actually turned around their entire season in a remarkably.
So you have seniors on this team who, going into this year, had won a total of 3 games.
Yeah.
And now they're 11-0-2. So anyway, they're going to Hope.
Yeah.
So this is where it could end. They're going to Hope. Hope 11-1-2.
So
Hope's only loss was back September 6th to Ohio Northern, to ONU. 2-1.
And they're good. Hope is really good. I am impressed in how they play. I wonder if this is too.
And you're not just saying that because you have the poster.
And I'm not just saying that because I have the poster. Did I show all of you?
That is fantastic. I absolutely love that. Yeah, Hope's a good team, but I actually might try and watch this game. I want to see what Adrian's all about and how they've managed to go from 1-13 to 11-0-2. And it's not by like downgrading their schedule and playing. They played all the same teams. They just beat them all this year.
I will say too, right? Like the Charlie Miles, the coach at Adrian, is relatively new, and he's sort of
second year
revamped a lot of. I don't want to say he started from scratch, but I think a lot of what his mission was to create a much. I hate using the term in the collegiate world, but like trying to make this much more of a professional type atmosphere, which I don't think they ever had, and that clearly it's had it's had an impact. So good guy. So I interviewed him, and I also interviewed his boss. The president of Adrian College.
Nice.
President Jeffrey Docking, who wrote the book on the struggles of small schools. And
being a small school and the financials and interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm full of useless knowledge, aren't I?
I know, right? This is where we're going.
This is not going to help any of my picks this week.
It might. It might. You never
Yeah.
know.
I am going to watch this one. I have watched Hope. I have not watched
Yeah.
Adrian. A
Yeah.
full confession out there. I have not seen Adrian play. Um,
Well, as one of the 7 remaining undefeated teams in all of D3 soccer, they are worthy of our attention.
yes. Well, and they were like 10-0-1, maybe like just last week. So they must have tied this week. I can't remember. I looked at them. I'm like, that can't be right. Like there's got to be something wrong here. That's not the right record. So
Well, they are. They are. So yeah, Adrian Bulldogs,
yeah,
purple Bulldogs, no, purple
no, they
Bulldogs.
are gold and black.
Uh, Last week they tied Albion
That's it.
0-0,
Yeah,
and they beat Alma
yeah.
3-1.
But they were like you said, and they've been doormats for
Yeah, I
ever.
mean, and they're not playing the you
No,
know creme de la
yeah,
creme,
yeah,
but like I said, they didn't really change their schedule
no,
that much, and they're just winning games
yeah,
now. Games that they lost last
yeah,
year, they're now winning.
yeah. Which is
So
yeah. So I will say again, and my eyes, I got a little bit tainted. It's a remarkable place. It's become quite a remarkable place,
yeah,
Adrian. So
and Hope's a good team.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm rooting for Adrian. Hope's probably the better team, and we'll get a
yeah,
result out of this. But nonetheless, it's a good story, good matchup,
yeah,
and it'll be good for the Hive to see if we can
yeah.
get this one right. Because
They do
God
have.
knows
I
we're
will say
only
too. They also
50%.
do have a tough game. Adrian does have a tough game midweek against Trine. That's
Hmm.
not going to be an easy one.
They've got a couple. They've got a
Yeah,
couple tough games coming up.
I
I mean,
think
they could
Trine,
they
Hope,
could lose their next 4
they
games.
can. Yeah, yeah, and then Calvin.
Yeah,
So
so I'm saying they can
yeah,
lose,
yeah,
and it's all off. Yeah, they got Trine, Hope, Calvin,
yeah,
and then
and
they
then
get
to
into the
turn. Yeah.
playoffs,
So
and then who knows? But
um, yeah. Wow.
so
Okay, that's a good choice
interesting
though.
game.
That's
Yeah,
a really
I expand our horizons
yes. I really
because there are a bunch of games that I didn't put in here that I could have.
yeah. No,
Every week I do that. I find about 15 to every week I probably find like 16 to 18 games that are of interest, and then I try and whittle it down to 10.
yeah.
Take out some that maybe we've done a lot, or get something new in here that
Yeah.
that kind of evens the playing field for everybody, like Adrian Hope or
Yeah.
Geneva Waynesburg.
Yeah. Completely different. Like I said, man,
Yeah,
there's 200 games, 210 games or
right.
some 15 games every week or right? Like there's a lot of teams out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And then for our final game, I give us something like I've got on Sunday, Trinity at
oh
Colorado
my
College.
gosh. Yeah, this
That's
is
a
big. This is a big
huge
yeah.
matchup.
Yeah.
Huge matchup.
I think there's a lot riding on there. Ego, going into the turn, all these things that are
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a top 20 matchup. I'm surprised that Trinity is not ranked higher. I mean, Colorado's a top 5 team. I'm
yeah,
surprised Trinity's not close behind them at 7 or 8,
yeah.
but they're a little bit lower than that. Did you know that Trinity they're 12-0-2? Their first 2 ties were the first 2 games of the season. They've since rolled off
Yeah.
12 straight wins.
Yeah.
They've scored 46
Yeah.
goals in that span.
Yeah.
And
Well, this last week they beat Dallas and Austin College, combined score 9-0. Like
yeah,
they're a machine in front of goal.
yeah.
And,
I mean, beat up the teams that you should beat up,
yeah,
and not win games 2-0. Win
yeah.
5-0.
And that game they played against Texas Lutheran last week, they were down
Right.
twice and came back and ended
Yeah.
up winning that game, which was
Yeah. 3-2. They won.
yeah,
Yeah.
some great
Two
goals, but
two late goals. Yeah.
fantastic game.
Yeah. That final one I think was like a what guy dribbled through like
Yeah,
5 people
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Colorado Colorado's on their own 7-game
Yeah.
winning streak. You know how many goals they've given up in those last 7 games?
One.
Goose egg.
Nice.
They've got 7
Yeah.
7 straight shutouts.
And well, I should have known that because they were in Texas this weekend, right? And they beat Southwestern and Texas Lutheran. 3 combined score 3-0. So I think it was 2-0,
Yeah.
1-0. So
They haven't given up a goal in the last 7 games.
they're good. Like I said,
This
you can
is
make
a
the case for
big
Trinity,
game.
but Colorado impresses me on a lot of different levels.
Big game.
Big game. It's a hard one to call too. Like I don't know how much like it. Like it's hard to quantify, and it's hard. Like how hard is it? How hard is it for a team, especially out west? I'm trying to be really cognizant of that. Like they gotta fly down to Texas. I'm assuming they're flying down, right?
Well, this is in Colorado.
No, it's not. I thought it was down in. Oh, that's right. That's right. Then conversely, Trinity going to Colorado, right? Like they gotta hop on a plane.
Right.
Like that's gotta be hard work.
Yeah.
So I'm always curious about that. What kind of an impact that sort of has. But I will say, regardless, if it ends up being 0-0, I am not surprised. If it ends up 3-2, I am not surprised.
Right.
Like I could see the scoreboard going either way on this one. Can you hear me?
No, you froze on me.
Okay. I keep getting some stability issues. How about now?
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll chop that
Yeah,
up.
that game it could be a 3-2
Yeah.
game. If Trinity does what Trinity does, which is score goals, Colorado's going to have to.
Yeah.
They're going to have to match them,
Yeah.
right? So they can't sit. They can't sit in and right.
I think that,
so.
I
Yeah.
think that either one of these teams would be foolish if they sit. And they were like, wait
Right.
for something to happen. I think you got to take. I think both have to go out there and take the game to the other. Because the last thing you're going to want in a game like this, the last thing you want to be doing is playing on your heels, right? Like if you're
Right.
like that takes a toll.
It'll be interesting what happens if Colorado goes up.
Yeah.
Early, or not even early, but if they go up 1-0, and they're sitting on that 7-game shutout streak, and Trinity's going to have to throw all the horses at them.
Yeah.
So, whereas conversely, I think if Trinity goes up, it's going to be harder for Colorado.
Yeah.
But that's why you play the game.
That's it.
So that's a good game. So that's 10 games.
All right, brother. That was a good choices this week. Like I said, I like the fact that you mixed it up. Like really, I mean, these are challenging games. Again, if you can make up scores, but how do you measure Adrian against Hope? Right? Like how do you quantify that? Like that's hard to do.
Right.
Geneva, Waynesburg, it's just not on anybody's radar.
Let's see you get 40 points this week.
I totally will.
Right.
I'm actually gunning for like 125.
There you go.
I got
220. I'm going for 220, 221,
whatever the high score is. That's me.
Yeah.
I think I have to figure out a way to hack into your Google form so I can change it as the games happen. I got a buddy of mine who's a big
You got a buddy that can do that.
He's like a faux hacker. He likes to talk about how much he hacks, but it's like, dude, you'd be arrested by now, So, like Google Forms, hack into it for me.
Hack into the form for me.
All right. Well, this is going to be good.
Well, get your picks in. Wait until the
last. Well, I got to wait till Wednesday games.
That's fair.
That's what I did this last week, and look what it did for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Actually,
completely forgot, to be honest with you.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. Hold on a minute. I didn't share this with you. So technically, Simple Coach did not participate this week. I got an entry from Sample Kichi.
Did I? Yeah.
It was SOMPLCOACHI.
Okay.
Simple Kochi.
I had no idea what I did.
Sample Kochi
I panicked. You know
was the
why? Because
entry.
I did it on my phone. I did it on my phone because you're like, hey, you didn't do it. And so I'm like, oh my God. And I don't know where I was at. And so I was trying to do it on my phone. So that's my
That's all
excuse.
right. The other week, Scud. It was Skid.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay.
You need
Skid. I don't know who the Skid
you need
person is,
Google
but
Translate to help you with.
yeah, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
All right, so I will post all this stuff, d3soccer.fans. The links are down below to the registration form and the leaderboard. And yes, and nobody should play because it's going to be taken for granted that I
It's
am
just
winning.
that's fair because
That's what I
Mount
do.
Union is
Is
playing,
playing.
and
Step away.
that is the
Yes.
good luck charm, Lucky Charms,
And
right?
and and if
Purple horseshoes. That's what they are, right? The purple
yeah.
horseshoes, the Lucky Charms,
Yeah.
purple horseshoes.
Forgot about the purple horseshoes.
Purple horseshoes.
And if anybody, I would like to do some punitive points removals for anyone who does not choose Mount Union to win.
We can do that.
Negative. I want negative points
Negative.
awarded for because I'm an
I'll keep two
influencer. I'm a
spreadsheets.
YouTube influencer, so I'm influencing
Yes, you
you
are.
to change your
Yes, you are.
algorithm or whatever.
Yes, you are.
Negative points for anybody who does not choose Mount
Yeah,
Union. So,
yeah.
all right. So I will get this all up, and we will take it from there.
And we will talk on
We will
Friday.
talk on Friday.
All
All right,
right.
EJ. Thanks,
Sounds
Eric.
good.
Talk soon.
Take care,
Bye.
boss.